Did I plan for this video to be about fighting perfectionism when I started shooting? No, I did not. But on the way to creating this color chart, mistakes were made. In this video, we'll take a look at how to create a color mixing chart, the supplies I used, and how I corrected my blender. I'm Amanda Bennett. I'm a writer, artist, and craft adventurer, and this is the Dabbler's Journey. I've been wanting to make a color mixing chart for a while now, and since I haven't decided where I'm going to hang all of my art in my new office, I decided that this would be a great way to add a little color until I get a chance to unbox everything. Here are the paints I'll be working with today. These are Core watercolors, and I picked these up from Jerry's Artorama when we lived in Austin, Texas. Before I start painting, I need to decide which brush I'm going to use. I have a few options here, so let's test them out. This first one I have is the Himi number 6. This is one of the brushes that came in the jelly gouache set that I got a couple months ago. And I like this one, especially the crisp edges, but it doesn't hold a lot of water. Next up is the Himi number 8. This looks like a filbert, and I really like how much this one holds the water, so you can apply a lot without having to go back to redip. Then I've got this number 8 Blick. This is also a filbert, and it's funny because it looks so much smaller than the filbert 8, the Himi 8 filbert. And then I have a flat shader. This has very, very short bristles. I like how crisp this can make edges, but as you can see, it doesn't hold a lot of water. And then there's the flat shader number 6 from Princeton. I like this one. It makes very nice sharp edges, but kind of like the bright shader, it doesn't have a lot of, can't hold a lot of product. And finally, my 3/4 inch Princeton Heritage Flat Wash. And I figured this would be the standout, the showstopper, if you will, for swatching today, because it makes these really nice big strokes and it holds a lot of water. And here's a close-up of all of the swatches now that they've dried. As you can see, that 3/4 is going to be the winner. Next up is to prep the rest of the materials. First, I need to select the paper and then draw the chart. I have this folder of paper samples, and there are several I can choose from. The paper I decided to go with is the Lana Aquarelle Watercolor Cold Press 140 pound. The main sheet was originally a 22 by 30 inch. And this one's new to me. I haven't tried it before. This board here is a bench hook, and it helps me keep my paper square when I'm working to measure something. Off camera, I went ahead and measured out what my squares are going to be, and I'm going to be drawing now the chart. I got this paper as a huge sheet from a really cool shop in Dallas, Texas called Paper Arts. It's the kind of place that has been there for decades and is run by people with a deep love and appreciation for fine paper crafts. Now that all the prep is out of the way, it's time to paint the single color squares. This chart was inspired by one I saw Emily Hughes create, and you'll see what I mean a little later. Yes, I misspelled neutral. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix it. Now it's time for the fun part, the color mixing. Before I can start color mixing, I need to clean up my palette. Ordinarily, I wouldn't bother to clean it so thoroughly. I'd just dive into whatever was there from my last painting. But since we're doing a chart, cleaning it now will ensure my color mixes are true and not muddied by the paint that's left behind. As I mentioned earlier, I was inspired by Emily Hugh's massive watercolor mixing chart. I'm not working with nearly as many colors as she was, so I'm opting to paint the darkest value of the color mix below the single color diagonal swatch and then a lighter value above it. I have a tendency to apply too much watercolor to the paper, so this helps me practice with water control and mixing lighter values. I just painted that the wrong color. Oh, that makes me itchy. But I'm gonna keep going. So I was so flustered, I forgot to hit record when I started painting again. Oh well, this was already going to be imperfect. Perfectionism is an insidious trait of mine. It likes to kick down the door when I make the slightest mistake. And it's taken a lot of introspection to notice when it's sucked all the air from the room. Perfectionism is a battle I have to fight every day, but I'm learning to work around it. I don't try to throw it from the room. I invite it to take a seat in the corner so I can continue my work. Perfectionism is always going to keep showing up. It's not going to go away. But it's not worth a cage fight. That's just not energy well spent. I've learned to say, I see you, but you're not going to derail me. Early in my career, I had the good fortune to have a director who taught me the phrase, "close enough is good enough." But she didn't mean to not produce quality work. She wasn't promoting mediocrity. Her point was for me to learn to discern where to let go of the impulse to be perfectly precise with tasks that aren't critical. I'll admit I really didn't care for this concept at the time, but over the years, this wisdom stayed with me, and I'm grateful for it. I have a director now who has a variation on this idea. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Even from early childhood, my mom would remind me that practice does not make perfect. Practice makes the best, as in the best of what I'm capable of only after I've put in the time to develop a particular skill. It's something of a complicated concept for a little kid, but I remember and I appreciate it as an adult. It's these insights of these very smart women that helped me to develop the skills to keep perfectionism from crippling my progress. All right, the chart is painted and it's time to fix the squares I mispainted. Is that even a word? Anyway, back to the paper sample folder. I decided to take the top part of the sample sheet so I don't have to cut my larger sheets. I can preserve those for future projects. This is where my skills from bookbinding really come in handy. I'm thinking about doing a video where I show you how I make custom sketchbooks. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd like to see. I didn't get the corners glued well, so I'm gonna come back in with this tiny spatula and attempt to tuck some glue between the two pieces of watercolor paper. And here we have it, an imperfect yet accurate color chart using my core watercolors. All things considered, I really could have gotten the values lighter in the top right section, but this is still a great reference. Did I intentionally paint the wrong color here? No. Did I do some creative editing for storytelling purposes? Absolutely. Did I plan for this video to be about fighting perfectionism when I started shooting? No, I did not. But by mistake made me confront the impulse to just scrap it and completely start over. It was literally just supposed to be a color mixing video. I had to decide if I was going to make the chart all over again and delay publishing this video, or just work with what I've got. And nobody else is gonna see this, except for you guys. It's just a reference chart to brighten my wall. It's not meant to hang in a gallery. Also, I've got a lot of art supplies, so I'm sure that there's gonna be more color mixing chart opportunities for me to share with y'all. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.